They're pulling the ladder up and saying, no, never mind. No one's actually allowed to do this. Actually, no one's allowed to do this thing that we did and made us millions of dollars and made us famous and respected and successful and admired. No one else can do this. Danny Boyle is a film director. He directed the movie 28 Years Later, which just came out. Zombie movie, a sequel or second sequel to 28 Days Later, which he also directed. I think the one in between he didn't direct, but I don't know. Anyway, he's on the promotional trail right now, and he's now joined the legion of filmmakers, actors, and comedians who are apologizing for their previous work. And in fact, there was another one just over this past weekend. Amy Poehler, I think, said something about how her previous SNL skits were racist or whatever and should never have been made. So there's a common theme. And here's The Guardian, reading now from an interview with Boyle. The author of this piece is someone called Zan Brooks, Zan with an X, X-A-N. So she writes, I wonder, though, how history will judge Slumdog Millionaire, his Oscar-winning 2008 spectacular about a ghetto kid who hit the jackpot. Boyle shot the film in Mumbai, partly in Hindi, and with a local crew, but it was a film of its time and the world has moved on. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to make that now, Boyle says, and that's how it should be. It's time to reflect on all that. We have to look at the cultural baggage we carry and the mark that we've left on the world. Is he saying that the production itself amounted to a form of colonialism? No, he says. Well, only in the sense that everything is. At the time, it felt radical. We made the decision that only a handful of us would go to Mumbai. We'd work with a big Indian crew and try to make a film within this culture. But you're still an outsider, still a flawed method. That kind of cultural appropriation might be sanctioned at certain times, but at other times, it cannot be. I mean, I'm proud of the film, but you wouldn't even contemplate doing something like that today. It wouldn't even get financed. Even if I was involved, I'd be looking for a young Indian filmmaker to shoot it. You know, I can't really fully describe just how much contempt I have for people like this. I mean, first of all, the guy doesn't even have the courage of his convictions. Notice the way he tries to play both sides. You know, he asks if Slumdog Millionaire, he's asked if Slumdog Millionaire is colonialism, and he says, no. Well, only in the sense that everything is. So it's not colonialism, but everything is colonialism. Which, what the hell does that even mean? Everything is colonialism? So colonialism is responsible for what? Existence itself? I mean, I was already kind of a fan of I'm a fan of colonialism, historically anyway. Not so much the modern form of it. But apparently it's even better than I thought. So that doesn't make any sense. But he does get around to apologizing for making the film and saying that, you know, you couldn't and shouldn't make a film like that today. And as I said, many filmmakers, actors, and comedians are doing this now. And what's the common thread between all of them? Well, you have aging artists who are well past their prime, who enjoyed their full freedom of artistic expression during their prime, now trying to pull the ladder up behind them. They're pulling the ladder up and saying, no, never mind. No one's actually allowed to do this. Actually, no one's allowed to do this thing that we did and made us millions of dollars and made us famous and respected and successful and admired. No one else can do this. And it's not just pulling the ladder up. It's more like leaving the house and lighting it on fire on the way out the door. I mean, it's like dousing the whole thing in gasoline and burning it to the ground. People like Danny Boyle aren't just making it harder on future artists. They're trying to kill the art itself. Because this is the death of art. This is the death of filmmaking. Danny Boyle made Slumdog Millionaire because it was a story he wanted to tell. It was his story that he wanted to tell. And that's why he made it. But now he's saying that storytellers shouldn't tell stories that they want to tell. They should give the stories to somebody else. Which is like saying that a painter shouldn't paint the picture that he has in his own head. He should get someone else to paint it for him. Right? If you want to paint a picture of something that isn't, if you want to paint a picture of a person who isn't you, you need to go get that person to paint it. And why is Boyle only apologizing for Slumdog Millionaire? I mean, he made the 28 Days Later films, even though he's not a zombie and has never experienced a zombie apocalypse. Well, he is British, I believe, and there's something like a zombie apocalypse happening in Western Europe right now. So maybe I'll give him that one. He made 127 Hours about the guy who got his arm stuck by a rock and had to cut his own arm off. And I'm pretty sure Danny Boyle has never cut his own arm off, or any limb, as far as I know. He made Train Spotting, even though he's not a heroin addict, as far as I know, again. So the guy doesn't even have the courage of his convictions. But the main thing is just this act by these washed up comedians and artists and filmmakers to, as I said, just pull the ladder up, burn the bridge behind them. No one's allowed to follow. It is really reprehensible. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.